Hello and welcome to my review of the new indie comedy It's Kind of a Funny Story, starring Emma Roberts and Zach Galifianakis. This movie centers on a high schooler who is feeling very disconnected from life. So disconnected, in fact, that he's considering suicide. Because of this, he checks himself into the mental ward at the hospital, thinking he's only going to get a little psychiatric help. But he ends up staying in the ward for a week. He meets a cast of disturbed in some way characters, including Zach Galifianakis and Emma Roberts. He ends up learning some powerful lessons on self-acceptance, and maybe even falling in love. I went into this movie expecting complete and utter garbage. The trailers for this movie made it look like a quirky hipster movie with a soundtrack, and it just looked like it thought it was way smarter than it actually was. But lo and behold, I was the fool. What I got was a very earnest, funny, and meaningful story with some well-fleshed-out performances and characters. What I really enjoyed about this film is that I really felt like I was going on a journey with the main character. At first, I hated him. His problems didn't seem big enough for him to be depressed in the first place. However, as I got to know him, I realized something. He's just what a lot of us feel like in high school, overworked, stressed out, and alienated. And as a high school student, I really identified with him. And needless to say, the main actor who played him was very good. The other performances from the cast members were very good as well. Zach Galifianakis really surprised me. Not only is he very funny, but he also has surprising dramatic chops. It's almost as if he took his Hangover character, made him a little more down to earth, and had him face the torment of being off base with other human beings. There's just something slightly off about him at all times, and he really breaks down in a couple of scenes, and it's surprising how effective he is. Even though it's easy to see why I picked him, because all of his characters that he's played have had a slightly mental unstable quality about them. Emma Roberts also turns in a fine performance as the love interest. There's always something brewing just below the surface with her character. She does a good job of conveying how her anger at herself has made her a sheltered person. I love how this film gets inside the mind of the main character. It's not afraid to go off on random tangents and non sequiturs. It only makes his thoughts all the more hilarious and meaningful. It's just a well-written script altogether with sharp dialogue and a good, solid storyline for its main character. All the humor in it just feels very organic. It doesn't feel like the studio shoved it in as some sort of crude set piece. My only real flaw with the film is that it goes a little too long, like just-ish. It kind of starts to drag in the middle, and you're just starting to feel like the movie is spinning its wheels. But overall, this is a very well written, directed, and acted dramedy that I really think will strike a chord with people who see it, especially high schoolers. I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars out of 4. It was a very solid film that I think may become a surprise indie comedy hit at the box office.